my visual literacy lesson plan, I will be collaborating with the 7th grade English arts teacher, as there is already a need for visual literacy according to Common Core Missouri standards. I am defining visual literacy as the ability to read, write, and create visual images and understand how visual images convey meaning and how to share ideas using images. Students are going to be able to analyze illustrations in graphic novels or comics for meaning, themes, and mood. Learners will also be able to describe the relationships between illustrations and text in graphic novels using the four basic forms of text and picture interaction. Students will also be able to use imagery and text as well as their own to create and share as well as their own interpretations of a narrative. Students are going to create comic interpretations of fairy tales and share them in a Google Drive folder. Students will comment on each other's comics, and so an ideal comic will use visuals effectively, minimal text, while still creating a narrative in a logical order that is still recognizable as a fairy tale. I tried to divide the responsibilities between the two instructors equally, so the librarian is going to be responsible for teaching concepts of visual literacy and the comments that students make on each other's comments. The ELA's teacher is going to teach the application of visual literacy to graphic novels and grade the comics themselves. So let's move on to the instructional plan. There's going to be a pre-test that students will have to take. The librarian will define visual literacy and explain the 4 types of text and picture interaction. The teacher will then explain how to analyze illustrations using a graphic novel and using an organizer to ensure that students slow down and think thoughtfully about the fairy tale graphic novels they're reading. After the students have completed this exercise, they will complete the fairy tale comics exercise, and then they will wrap up the lesson by asking students how their ideas of visual literacy have changed and how their ideas of graphic novels have changed in general. For my materials, I used a mix of course, the graphic novels for the 4Ws analysis activity, but I've also included comic book making books as a guide and a resource for students that need some inspiration or maybe help on how a comic should be structured. So that's a reference. Of course, you're going to need Google Drive, laptops, projector, and the Storyboard app. That app. Differentiation is going to be a little tricky for students with poor eyesight, so you might consider using audiobooks or having students use ebooks so they can zoom in on to see the details of a text, and see the and computers they can zoom in on for the comic book activity. The students will benefit from bouncing off each other's ideas and help with the computers as they work through that task. For closure and reflection, how the teacher and librarian are going to assess the success of this lesson is going to be based off of how well these students apply these concepts to the final assignment and their comments. And compare them to the pretest. We'll give them a sense of maybe we need to slow down this particular part of the lesson. Maybe students need more time to work on the assessment. Maybe we need to use simpler language, things like that. So if anyone has any questions about my lesson plan, let me know. I hope you all have a great week. Thank you. Bye.